for being here. I'll just make two comments and then see what questions y'all may have. Number one comment, it was very important to me when I released my statement yesterday that be to and through the press in the 13th District. When I was first announced I was going to run for office, it was not the Washington Post and Politico and all of those people who were at the Senior Citizen Center. It was y'all, or your predecessors. And so to speak to y'all and through y'all to the people who have hired me over the years without getting it leaked with people with other agendas and so forth was really important. And so I just wanted to say how much I respect what y'all do and how you've done it. Secondly, as you can see, hopefully from the statement, you can do lots of grousing about the state of politics and other things these days, but what Sally and I really feel is incredible gratitude for having had the opportunities that the people of this area have given us for the last 25 years. We feel very, very fortunate indeed. Getting to do things, for example, that no other Texan has ever gotten to do, and to represent this area with some folks who have been incredible to work for. So it is, you know, as we figure out at some point the next phase of our life, what we're going to think about is how grateful we are for what the last 25 years have made. And I hope that that comes across for the people of our area, because they're the ones that made it possible. See what questions y'all got.
So what's next?
I have no idea. At some point, Sally's going to make sure I get a job. I don't know where or how that's going to be, but I've got a year and a quarter or so left in this job. And so, needless to say, there's a lot going on. We need to finish this year's defense bill. There's a little drama in Washington these days. So hopefully we can look for ways to be productive even through the drama. And so the expression running through the tape is what goes through my mind, and that's what I really must do for the people of our area.
What are some of the things that weighed in on your decision to retire? What are some of the reasons that you thought now's the time?
Yeah, well, number one was I've done it 25 years, and it'll be 26 next year. So that's a good long while, and a lot longer than I ever expected it to be. As you know, Republicans in the House have term limits on how long you can be at the top of a committee, whether you're chairman or ranking member. And so my time at the top of the Armed Services Committee comes to an end next year, and that played a role. But generally, I just think it's time. It's time for us. It's time for the district. It was time for a change. As I quoted Ecclesiastes there, you know, for everything there's a season, and I think there's a time for a different season for us.
What do you think will be involved in that season? What do you look, as you know the Republican Party like you do?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. As I also tried to say, just because you leave this particular job does not mean you quit caring about the country, or that you don't continue to have responsibilities to help look after the country. And I feel that, and I think most of the people in our area feel that. So I don't know in what capacity, what job it would be next, but in some ways I look forward to whatever opportunities those will hold. But again, first I gotta finish what the people have already hired me to do all the way through.
Congressman Thornberry, in your career, 25 years, you've kind of held yourself above some of the partisan and viciousness of the political scene today. Did that play a part in your decision not to seek re-election?
No, really the reason we decided, and it was we, Sally and I, is because we've done it a long time, and we really felt it was time for something different. I will admit that the political environment today is not what I wish it were. It makes it harder to accomplish things, and the reason I ran for office was to do things, not just to spout off, you know, against somebody on TV or something. So, but again, I guess it made it a little easier to reach this conclusion, but the conclusion was because we've done it a long time. We've kind of come to a turning point, at least with the term limits and so forth. So it was time to try something different.
So I guess my question would be, with that environment, as you just stated, I mean, what advice would you have for the person who's going to be in this position next?
I think, let me back up and say two things. One is, I am not trying to pick a successor and say, you know, I want this person to follow me. I think that's up to the candidates, the public, to sort through and listen to people. I'm sure there will be a number of people run. If I could give the public one piece of advice, it is focus on somebody who can work with others to get things done rather than somebody who will just add to the noise. There's a lot of noise that's going on in Washington, on our television sets, on our radios, you know, in our print media, all the way around. We need, if you're going to do the job to represent this district, look after agriculture, Pantex, Bell Helicopter, you got to be able to work with people. Even people you may disagree with on some issues, you got to work with them on others. So look for somebody, as Sally says, who's a workhorse, not a show horse. We don't need more noise. We need somebody who will be able to work with people to get things done.
So, as well as, you know, throughout your 25-year career, does anything really just stand out to you about that you're proud of getting done while in office?
I'm not very good at looking back and saying, okay, I was really good at doing something. You know, I don't think that's particularly helpful. I guess I would say my goal has been to try to represent the people of this district with integrity, and be a congressman they could be proud of. And obviously there's been lots of issues coming and going, you know, 9/11, all these different things have happened over the last 25 years. But if I could be seen as somebody who tried his best to represent the people in a way they deserve, man, I'm happy with that.
Yes, sir. I'll let you clear this up. I think most of our listeners are very supportive of you, and we've had you on many times through the years, and they all appreciate that. But I mentioned this morning, and I mentioned the fact that you're the 6th Republican to announce that you won't be running. So I got a phone text. I'll just read it to you and let you respond.
Okay.
This lady said, the number of Republicans not seeking re-election is a pretty strong signal. They expect the Democrats to hold the House, and probably signaling that they're not strongly with President Trump. So,
yeah, I don't think that's true at all. A couple years ago, Texas had more committee chairmen than any state has ever had in the history of the country. Now, with term limits on committee chairs, there's going to be a natural ebbing and flowing of people. If you're at the top with the most chairs, then obviously you're going to have a number of them leave at around the same time, and we've been seeing that the last couple election cycles. I think that's what's going on in Texas. It's a natural ebbing and flowing. In our particular district, by some measures, we are either the most Republican or one of the most Republican districts in the country. I am not worried that a Democrat will represent the 13th District of Texas. What I am concerned is what kind of Republican represents the 13th District of Texas. One that will constructively work to get things done would be my hope. And so I think that's what's going on. I know there's a lot of spin, especially by the Democratic Party, but that certainly doesn't apply to us, and I don't think it applies to most of the people in Texas who are doing other things.
yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Congressman, as a former veteran and the father of a West Pointer, I want to thank you for your work on the Armed Services Committee. Can you talk about that and your legacy of serving those men and women who serve our country?
Well, as I say, I'm not very good at legacy, but it has been an incredible privilege to work with and on behalf of the men and women who serve our nation in the military. I've gotten to see them everywhere from hills in Afghanistan to some ship somewhere to bases all around the country. And you know, the reason I could continue to do this job with my whole heart for 25 years so far is because of the inspiration I get for them and the responsibility I feel to them to do the best I can on their behalf, as well as the people I represent here at home. So it's been one of the key privileges of this job, and inspiring. You know, that's the thing. Recently I did some college stuff, and everybody's all down about the state of our politics and so forth. You go be with those young people, you go be with troops, man, you think, this country's okay. We just need to get people like me out of the way and let them take over, and we'll be fine.
Congressman, as you stated earlier, pretty much there's a lot of noise, you said,
Yeah.
in Washington right now, especially with talks of impeachment.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular stance that you take on that, especially if it were to come down to a vote?
Well, I have a couple thoughts. One is, it's been pretty clear to me that some Democrats, not all Democrats, in the House wanted to impeach the president from the day after he was elected. And they have spent a lot of time and effort with subpoenas and investigations and so forth. But about 10 days ago, they decided all of that was for nothing, that this one conversation was all they needed to get him removed from office. The good news, I think, is that every American can read that one conversation, reach your own conclusions. I think you can argue that some parts of it were inappropriate. I do not believe that it was impeachable. And I'm distressed a little bit that the Democratic leadership, Speaker Pelosi, seems to be railroading through the House so fast. If you look back at other impeachments, including the Clinton, where I was in the House, there was a full vote in the House about whether to pursue it, a big investigation. Both sides could call witnesses. You're not seeing any of that now. So I'm afraid this is a railroad job which threatens to further polarize the country. And I worry about that. I know the country's stronger than any president, any congressman, any particular moment, so the country will be okay, but I think it's going to be a difficult few weeks. Okay? All right, thank y'all again for coming up. Good to see everybody.